The sky was heavy that morning. Gray, wet clouds pressed down as if they wanted to smother the city. Puddles mirrored the dirty sky, and sharp drops of drizzle tapped against the dark windows of a black BMW. In the back seat sat Mikhail Plakhoff, a wealthy investor. He was tapping irritably on his tablet, frowning at the numbers on the screen. Every few seconds, his eyes darted to his watch. He hated being late, especially when it was his own fault. "Why are we stopped?" he asked sharply. The driver glanced back. "Road repairs, Mikhail Lvovich. We'll be here 20 minutes. Want me to grab coffee? There's a roadside cafe." He pointed toward a peeling wooden shack with a crooked sign, "Home Cooking." Mikhail sighed, put the tablet aside and rubbed his temples. His head buzzed with numbers, strategies, meetings, projects. His entire life had become one endless race. Charts, deals, negotiations. He couldn't remember the last time he'd asked himself why. And then tap. A soft, hesitant knock on the window. Mikhail turned. Outside stood a little girl, maybe 7 years old. She was thin, wearing a long pink coat too big for her frame. A stretched-out sweater peeked from underneath. On her feet, rubber boots worn and clearly the wrong size. Her hair was a mess of braids, her cheeks streaked with dirt. In her arms she clutched a rag doll made of scraps and thread. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't even shy. Just two wide, clear eyes staring at him. Eyes that carried the weariness of someone far older. Mikhail pressed the button, lowering the glass. "Did you lose something?" he asked, stern but not unkind. The girl hugged her doll tighter and shook her head. Then she spoke, voice small but steady. "I'm looking for a dad. Or someone who could be. Maybe you." Mikhail froze. He wasn't sure he'd heard right. But the girl went on. "You're rich. I can tell by the car. And you're kind. I saw it in your eyes. Maybe you don't need a daughter." The world seemed to stop. Mikhail had faced ruthless competitors, multimillion-dollar deals, betrayals, but never a question like this. "Where's your mother?" he asked quietly. "She died last week. In the shelter." The girl's voice didn't break. "After that they sent me to the orphanage. They said I was too quiet. But I wasn't quiet. I just missed her. I ran away. I didn't steal anything. I swear. I just couldn't stay there." She wasn't begging. She wasn't crying. She was simply telling the truth. Mikhail felt the air grow thick around him. He crouched to her level. "Aren't you afraid of strangers?" "There's nothing worse left to be afraid of," she said simply. "And you don't look bad." He exhaled, looked at her small reddened hands, her cold feet, then turned to his driver. "Oleg, get a blanket from the trunk." Minutes later, the girl was sitting inside the BMW, wrapped in warmth, sipping hot cocoa the bodyguard had bought. Mikhail sat beside her, studying her face. Something deep inside him stirred. Something old, long buried. Regret, perhaps. Or longing. An hour later, they were at a district hospital. Mikhail insisted she be examined. Not because he doubted her words, but because he wanted reassurance that she was truly safe. In the waiting corridor, sitting on a hard plastic chair, he felt strangely calm. For the first time in years, the constant urgency inside him was gone. The girl, whose name was Vera, sat beside him drawing with crayons. She sketched a sun and two little figures holding hands. "Is that you?" Mikhail asked. "Yes. And that's you." She frowned. "I don't know how to draw a tie yet, but I'll learn." For the first time in years, Mikhail smiled. Later, at his office, a glass tower overlooking the city, Vera walked quietly among the shelves, studying paintings and books. On one wall hung a framed photo of Mikhail at an awards ceremony. She stopped in front of it. "You look different there," she said. "That smile isn't real." Mikhail stared at the photo and realized she was right. He had been acting his whole life. Only now, with this little girl he just met, did he feel authentic. He picked up his phone. "Alexei, I need everything on this child. Her background, relatives, the legal process for guardianship." The lawyer hesitated. "Mikhail Lvovich, are you serious? This isn't a toy. She's a child. Do I look like an idiot who treats children as toys?" Mikhail snapped, hanging up. Vera was now inspecting his expensive wristwatch with innocent curiosity. Then she asked softly, "Do you have a family?" He froze. Slowly he answered, "I had one. But I lost them. My pride, my mistakes. Now I'm alone." "Then we fit," she said. "You were alone. I was alone. Now we're together." And there was nothing he could add. A week later, Vera moved into Mikhail's spacious apartment. Designers had transformed a room into a child's bedroom. Pink wallpaper with flowers, shelves of toys, soft lighting. But she still slept wrapped in his blanket. Not from fear but because it smelled like home. For the first time in years, Mikhail's mornings weren't silent. The house echoed with soft laughter. The scratch of crayons whispered bedtime stories. One morning as she ate oatmeal, Vera looked at him and asked, "Did you have a daughter before me?" He froze, set down his cup, and nodded. "Yes. She died. I was away on a business trip. We never got the chance." Vera was quiet, then whispered, "Then I saved you, didn't I?" He looked at her in surprise. "Why do you think that?" "Because you were sad. And I was sad. But now we're not." Mikhail took her tiny hand in his. "Yes, Vera. You saved me." That night, for the first time in years, he cried. Not from pain but from relief. A month later, Mikhail hosted a charity gala. His foundation, originally named in memory of his lost daughter, was to be renamed the Vera Foundation. The hall filled with bankers, politicians, actors. Mikhail usually hated such events, but this night was different. He walked onto the stage holding Vera's hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "you know me as a businessman, but tonight I stand before you as a father. This girl Vera changed my life. I once lost everything because I kept postponing what mattered most. But God has given me a second chance. And if you ask me who saved whom, the answer is simple. She saved me." Silence. Then applause. Some wept. Others stared stunned. By the end of the evening, a woman approached. She introduced herself as a representative of the guardianship board. She handed Mikhail a folder. "Mikhail Lvovich, the decision is final. You are recognized as her legal guardian. Congratulations. Vera is now officially Vera Lvovna Plakova." Mikhail turned to the girl. She smiled, quiet and a little tired as always. "Now you're truly my daughter," he whispered. "And you're my dad," she answered softly. "The one I chose myself." Mikhail knew life would never be the same again.